And this is part of what they're talking about as we go now and we try to open up. And it's so interesting to me. We're talking about opening up, but now they've just announced in Florida as of, I think it was yesterday or maybe it was Saturday, but they just announced over the weekend that they're going to keep the schools closed for the rest of the year. Now, how can people go back to work if the kids aren't in school?
Right.
I mean, the way that we've got our society running now with generally both parents working, not making any judgments about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but you've generally got both parents working in most families. And so school functions as daily childcare. And if you were to actually have to pay for childcare, for a lot of people, you might as well not even work because it costs almost as much to pay for childcare as you make from your job. Mm-hmm. So you really can't afford to pay for separate childcare.
And that could go on for a month. That could be a month of people back at work and working from the office.
Right.
I mean, hopefully businesses will be willing to work with their employees and say, hey, you've been getting the job done at home, and I know you still have your kids to take care of. So hopefully people will be willing to work through that month because it'll be another solid month.
Well, and I think people, it's interesting, the large part of the population doesn't even want to go back to work. I think that's interesting. I mean, it's not that they don't want to go back to work, but they want to keep working from home.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
They don't want to go back to the office. Mm-hmm. Something like 40% of the people who've been, and I had to put quotes around it, working from home, because I think you can work from home, that's for sure. Sometimes I work from home, but I think in a lot of people's cases, they're less efficient when they're working from home. And you got to particularly think if you've got your kids in the house with you. I mean, they're demanding, Roxanne, you know this, they're demanding constant attention
Depends
from
what
you.
Age they are. Yeah, mine, no, it's not efficient to work from home.
Did you bring it up last week about the attorneys that were working from home and they were staying in bed? And they were
the judge. Yeah, the judge got on them. Well, I guess apparently because, now we're doing some court hearings and things using this Zoom program, which I think is fascinating. We know it's got major security flaws, but it's still been adopted by the Florida court system. I mean, even the Supreme Court is going to hear arguments by Zoom. So I just think that's fascinating. We already know about a lot of security flaws with it. Imagine about the ones we don't know yet. But, it's been adopted. It's what people are using. I'm glad we got something to use at least. And I've done quite a few Zoom chats, although I've yet to do a Zoom hearing. But apparently some attorneys are not really taking to heart the fact that, there's a visual and, there's a component of this where you can be seen. So I guess there were some attorneys who were actually doing court hearings from bed, bed in their pajamas.
Shirtless, in bed, still in their pajamas. Sure. Laying down in bed with their head on the pillow in court.
I heard a funny story, just to share this. It may not be that funny to other people, but it was sort of funny from a friend of mine was telling about one of these conferences that he went to. And apparently one of the guys that was actually speaking at the conference didn't realize the video was already live to everybody.
Oh, no.
And
love those
had
mishaps.
on a shirt and tie and a jacket, but apparently had to stand up and get something, wasn't wearing any pants. And, I mean, I think he's wearing underpants, but he wasn't wearing, a full office outfit, tops and bottoms. And apparently sort of accidentally flashed, although not a direct flash, but accidentally showed, I think, probably more than what he intended to show. But, to me, it's pretty commonsensical to, care about how you present visually. It's such a visual world that we're in. So I can't imagine myself showing up for a court hearing in anything other than a shirt and tie. Now maybe whether you put your jacket on or not, I mean, I'm probably neutral on that one, but I probably put my jacket on. Why not? You want to make the best impression you can. But okay, so this is already going on. So, but anyway, we'll get back to work. I don't know how soon it will be. They're talking about these phased reopenings, and I know in some states they're already starting. Here we've had some starts with opening the beaches. Now schools are going to stay closed, but we've opened the beaches.
You have issues right now with people's health where they're scared about COVID-19, about catching it. So much to the point I was talking to a hospital administrator in the Midwest, and he said that he's seen just such a bump up, in suicides, stress-related, calls. And then also the other side of that is people who are going into cardiac arrest and then being so scared about going to the hospital that they're not going to the hospital until it's too late.
Yeah.
Appendix, same kind of thing. someone let their appendix go and it was just too. So now there's this, we're living in a world of such fear. We're afraid to act as we normally would. Our instincts are all messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, they've definitely, and I don't know who they is, but, put quotes around it, the powers that be have kind of got us in this, tuned, is when I say tuned. I mean, they could almost drive us from emotion to emotion, fear to dread to all these things, and it just depends on what kind of media information they're putting out there and what the talking heads are saying, because we sort of go from these peaks to these valleys of our emotional feeling. We're going to talk a little bit more about this. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.